Hey, I'm proud of some of you Team Tacoers. Y'all, I really am. I'm really, really proud of some of y'all. I seen up on the social medias that there's quite a few of y'all that's getting off the Trump train now. And I could tell by the way that it was, because they were upset about being manipulated and played like that. They didn't like that. They felt humiliated and angry about the whole situation. And you should be, you really should be. I mean, I actually got up in the comments and stuff, was looking in there, and there was a whole bunch more agreeing with them. So it ain't just the people that's making the videos. There's a whole lot more people out there that's saying, yep, we were played and we were lied to. So look, if you're still on the Trump train, you look around, you're sitting there with Nazis and idiots now. That's all that's left on there anymore, okay? But for all y'all that's getting off there, look, that's all we was trying to do is tell y'all that the whole time, whenever y'all was riding by on the train and we was waving and stuff, y'all flipped us off, flipped us off and was calling us names like Democrats and libtards and stuff like that. We was just like, hey man, we just want to tell you you don't want to be on that dude's lying to y'all, and y'all hated us for it. But we was just trying to help all, because if you get right down to it, we're all upset about the same thing. We are. I mean, minus the racisms and the homophobias and stuff, which I don't never get. I don't understand that. I mean, as much as y'all crash Grindr servers and stuff, you wouldn't think you'd be mad at people for being gay. And then the black folks and the brown folks and stuff. I mean, I've never understood that either. Why you hate somebody because they got more melanin in their skin than you do. And you don't even hate people for having more money than you, but you hate somebody for having more melanin than you. That right there confuses up on me for doing that, But you're not even allowed to be mad at people for having more money, but I mean, y'all just hate on people for having more melanin. That's a weird thing to do, So anyway, and so we don't agree on that, but the thing, I don't even understand why you do it, because it don't happen in nature that way. Animals don't behave that way. Even fish don't behave that. I went fishing and I caught a black drum and a whiting, and I put it in a 5-gallon bucket of water together, and I watched them little two dudes swim around each other for a while. They weren't fighting, they weren't yelling at each other, wasn't beating each other with their flippers or nothing like that. Weren't finning each other, biting each other. They make googly eyes at each other and stuff like that. That's what they was doing. I think they liked each other a lot. Really, they got along good. But now the blue crab that was in the bottom of the bucket, he didn't like either one of them son bitches at all. And you could tell by the way that it was, because he had his blue pinchers up there going like that right there, and they didn't appreciate that either. They didn't care for the blue crab. The blue crab didn't care for them. So that's y'all, Team Taco. That's y'all. You're blue crabs is what you are, wearing red hats. That's what you are. You always got your pinchers up there going clack, 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 and foaming at the mouth all the time. You're like a bunch of damn blue crabs. So, it does make sense. That's why you don't like people. Is because you just don't like nobody. Man. But anyway, I was noticing on that, and look, y'all don't have to behave that way, because we actually do kind of believe in the same stuff and stuff. I mean, you get up in the morning and you're mad, because you work your tail off every day and you ain't getting ahead, We're the same way. We feel the same way about it. The thing is, we don't go out there and brag about working. We just adult is what we do. We're like, well, I mean, I got to work. So, I mean, why would I pat myself on the back about it? I'd make myself look foolish doing that. You don't have to pat yourself on the back and give yourself a cookie, because everybody's doing it, We don't want to, but we got to, We just wish that we would be more appreciated, to get paid more, and things didn't cost so much, just like you. That's the thing. See, we all agree on that right there. But here's the problem, is you've got rich folks out there that's telling you, you know why things are so bad for you? Gay people. It's because of them gay people over there, them transgender people, and them black and them brown people. And them people right there, if those people didn't exist, you'd have a whole lot more money. That's what they convince you of. But your life would be so much better if it weren't for them. And you're like, yeah, that's what it is. And then you're like, and then foaming at the mouth at those people. They ain't the reason. It ain't the reason at all. Our tax dollars don't even go to making people gay. Did you know that? We don't use tax dollars to gay people up. We never did it. Ever did we do it, So that ain't the reason why. The reason why you're upset, ain't got no damn money. That's why right there. The same reason we're upset. We don't got enough money. You know why we don't have enough money? Because other people have all of it. That's why. See, the way it's all laid out here in this great United States is, imagine if we only had 10 people that lived in the country, okay? Well, 9 of those people, they have to share $65 amongst 9 people. That other one person, they've got $106 to themselves. That's the way it's laid out here in the United States for us. That's the reason why we're mad all the time, and you're mad all the time. It ain't because there's gay people and black people and brown people. It ain't that at all. It's because we have $65 spread out amongst all of us, and they have 106, just that one person there. So way it is, see, we have $65 trillion in wealth amongst the bottom 90%, while the top 10% have $106 trillion worth of wealth to themselves. That's the problem, is because we don't have no money down here because they've got all of it. See, if we had that $106 trillion and spread out amongst the 65 million middle-class households, that would be $1.4 million per household, what that would be. So the reason why that you're broke all the time is because they got all the damn money, okay? And they keep taking more and more of it because everything we buy goes to them. Our paychecks come from them in some way or another, you know. It all goes back to them. It's kind of like this thing that we had back in the day, about 165 years ago, called slavery. Yeah, we had this thing called slavery where there was a bunch of black people that came from the Africas. You know what they did? Come over here and took all of our jobs against their will. Yeah, they come over here and took all of our jobs against their will, and they were forced to work down here. And guess what white people didn't have in the South? Jobs. They didn't have jobs because they had slaves doing their work for them. So we had pine cone, dirt poor white people, you know, eating pine cones and wiping their butts with pine cones because that's all they could afford to do. Don't ever eat the same pine cone that you're wiping your butt with, though, okay? At least not in reverse. But anyway, what that was going on down there, and see, these people didn't have a pot to piss in, you know, nothing. They didn't have nothing. These white folks was just poor as they could be. But somehow all these white, rich landowners, these plantation owners, still convinced up all these poor white people to go out there and fight for them. Dang sure did it. See, the plantation owners said, we can't do it. I mean, how can we do it? We're watching all of our slaves out here, you know, we're beating on them and raping on them and stuff like that, doing horrible things to them. We ain't got time to go out there and fight in no civil war. So what we need is for all you poor white people to go out there and fight for us to keep our slaves. And you know how they convinced you to do it? Said that if those slaves got freed, they was going to come take your women from you. They was going to come take your women, and if you had any property or anything like that, they're going to come take your properties too. And that enraged all the poor white people, and they got their pinchers going just like that, foaming at the mouth, and said, we're going to kill people. And they did. See, so that's how that went. Well, here we are 165 years later. They're still doing the same thing to you right now. Convincing up on you to hate people that ain't causing you no problem at all because, hey, as long as you're hating them, you ain't watching them pickpocket you. That's why. See, but that's what they're doing. That's all they've ever done to you. And I said, it trickled down. It will trickle down to you. If you keep giving us all the money, eventually it'll trickle down. Have you ever asked yourself if the whole idea behind trickle-down economics was so that the people down at the bottom would eventually get that money? Why don't we just give them the money to begin with? See, that right there tells you the whole damn thing's a scam. So anyway, I just wanted to let you know there, Team Taco, the ones that are getting off the train finally, congratulations. Welcome back to reality. It's going to take you a little time to heal up. But anyway, I hope more and more of you will. Hey, don't be afraid to go tell your friends, hey, we made a mistake. It's okay. You can admit you was wrong sometimes, all right? Inmate Trump.